It began on a quiet night, far from the noise of any city, in a small research station orbiting the moon. The stars looked peaceful, silent, and endless. But in that silence, something new appeared. A strange pulse of light crossed the deep void, faint but unnatural. The signal came from beyond the edge of the Milky Way, from a place no human ship had ever reached. At first, the scientists thought it was a mistake. Machines often picked up random cosmic noise. But this was different. The pulse came again, steady, repeating every 10 seconds, like a heartbeat from the darkness. The computers translated it into sound, and what they heard sent a chill through the control room. It was not random. It was a pattern. A message. Dr. Lyra Evans, head of the Lunar Signal Array, stared at the screen. Her fingers trembled as she ran the decoding software again and again, hoping it was just an error. But every test returned the same result. Someone, or something, was sending a signal, and it was aimed directly at Earth. She called her supervisor on Earth, but the communication delay made every second feel heavier. Within hours, the message spread through hidden government channels. The world leaders were informed, but only a few were allowed to know the truth. Panic was the first response. The message was too perfect to be natural. Too focused. Someone out there had noticed humanity. The signal didn't stop. It kept repeating for days, growing stronger as if the sender wanted to make sure no one missed it. Satellites all over the world began to pick it up. Every observatory, every listening post, every amateur radio telescope, everyone heard it. People started talking. News began to leak online. Some said it was aliens. Others called it a trick. But those who saw the data knew better. The universe had finally answered back. And humanity didn't know what it wanted. Commander Ryan Hale, leader of the Earth Defense Fleet, received a direct order from the Global Council: do not engage. Do not respond. Observe only. Hale didn't like that order. He had spent his whole life preparing for what might come one day. He believed that day had arrived. He looked at the signal readings on his ship's holographic display. It was elegant, complex, and strangely rhythmic, like music played by an unknown hand. But something about it felt wrong. It wasn't a call for friendship. It was a scan, a probe. As if someone was studying humanity's reactions. For 2 weeks, Earth watched in silence. The signal became part of every conversation. Fear spread faster than light. Religious leaders spoke of the end times, scientists debated on television, and people across the globe stared at the stars with both wonder and dread. Then, suddenly, the signal changed. It became faster, louder, more direct. And for the first time, the computers decoded actual words. The translation was simple: we are coming. Every monitoring station went into chaos. The Global Council met in emergency session. They didn't know what to do. Should they prepare weapons? Should they send a peaceful reply? What if the message was a test, a way to measure human aggression? Hours turned into days of endless debate. Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Hale made his decision. He could not sit and wait for unknown visitors to arrive. He believed the first move would decide the future of mankind. So he sent his own message, secretly. 3 words, transmitted into the black void: we are ready. The reply came faster than anyone expected. Within hours, telescopes detected movement beyond the Kuiper Belt, small objects moving fast, too organized to be asteroids. Every ship in the solar system was ordered to stand by. The world's militaries went silent. Governments denied everything, but the truth couldn't be hidden. Something, or someone, was entering the system. Hale's crew looked to him for orders. He only said one thing: keep eyes on them. Don't blink. Days later, a fleet of dark shapes appeared on the edge of Neptune's orbit. They didn't send any messages. They didn't respond to calls. They just watched. Dozens of ships, huge and cold, with no visible engines, drifting closer. The moment was breathtaking. Humanity had dreamed of this for centuries. But there was no joy, only fear. The aliens didn't come in peace, and everyone could feel it. Their formation moved like a predator circling its prey. Earth's defenses came online. Satellites locked targets. Lasers powered up. But no one dared to shoot. Dr. Evans kept studying the signal, searching for meaning. She discovered something terrifying, hidden data within the transmission. A map. It showed every human colony, every base, every ship location. They had been watching us long before the first signal arrived. The realization hit her like a knife. They weren't announcing their arrival. They were giving us a warning. They already knew everything about us. Evans tried to send a message to Commander Hale, but communication lines were flooded. The world was panicking. News finally leaked, and billions of people demanded answers. Hale knew what was coming next. He looked out from his ship's viewport at the cold stars. Somewhere out there, invisible eyes were staring back. The humans weren't just waiting for first contact anymore. The game had already begun. Then, without warning, the signal stopped. Complete silence filled the systems. For a few minutes, the universe held its breath. And just as everyone began to hope that maybe it was over, a single final pulse came through, louder and clearer than ever before. The translation was only 2 words this time. Your turn. Commander Hale stood frozen. He knew what it meant. They had made their move. Now, it was humanity's turn to respond. And deep in his heart, he felt one truth echo louder than any signal. The universe wasn't ready for humans, but humans were ready for war. The silence after the last signal felt heavier than any sound. For days, nothing moved in the sky except the stars. People started to believe it was over. Governments told the public that the strange transmissions were just cosmic noise. But in space, Commander Ryan Hale knew better. His ship, the ISS Valor, floated in high orbit above Earth, scanning the outer edges of the solar system. He hadn't slept for 2 days. Every hour, he looked at the data, hoping for something, anything, to explain what was coming. Then it happened. The ship's sensors caught movement beyond Saturn. Several unidentified objects were entering the system. They were fast. Too fast. And too organized. Within minutes, the images became clear. Sleek, dark ships gliding silently through the void. No visible engines, no communication, no signals, just motion, deliberate and perfect. Humanity's first confirmed contact with extraterrestrial life. The crew stared at the screens in disbelief. Some cheered, others trembled. Commander Hale didn't smile. He had expected this moment his entire life, but it didn't feel like triumph. It felt like a test. The aliens weren't hiding. They wanted to be seen. He opened a secure line to Earth Command. We have visual. They're here. The reply came after a long pause. Do not engage. Maintain observation. Await further orders. Hale clenched his jaw. Understood, he said, though his gut told him that waiting might be the most dangerous move of all. Over the next 24 hours, the alien fleet moved closer. The world below watched in terror as live feeds appeared across every screen. The ships were massive, triangular, and blacker than space itself. They didn't broadcast any sound or signal. They didn't reply to Earth's attempts at communication. They simply drifted, scanning everything. Satellite networks began to fail, one by one. Every time a satellite came near their ships, it went dark. No explosion, no trace, just gone. Panic spread. Governments tried to control information, but social media exploded. People saw strange lights in the sky. Some thought it was an invasion, others believed it was a miracle. Crowds filled the streets, praying or protesting. On the Valor, tension was breaking. The crew whispered among themselves. Why are they just watching? One asked. Maybe they're waiting for us to make the first mistake, another said. Hale said nothing. His eyes stayed fixed on the largest ship at the center of the alien formation. It didn't move like the others. It seemed to pulse, like it was alive. Then the ship did something unexpected. A beam of light extended from it, thin and silver, touching the edge of Earth's atmosphere. It didn't attack, it scanned. Within seconds, every defense satellite on that side of the planet went offline. Hale's communications officer turned pale. "Sir, they're inside our systems." The commander's voice was calm but heavy. "Shut down all outgoing signals. Don't give them a path in." It was already too late. One by one, Earth's networks flickered and died. No phones. No internet. No defense coordination. Total silence. Dr. Lyra Evans on the lunar base tried to re-establish contact, but every channel was blocked. Then, a new sound echoed through her speakers, a low humming voice, mechanical yet clear. It spoke in broken English. "Submit, and live." She froze. The message repeated again and again until the screens went black. On Earth, chaos erupted. People demanded answers, armies were mobilized, and the Global Council went into emergency session. Some argued for peace, others demanded immediate attack. Commander Hale watched it all unfold through fragments of hacked transmissions. He felt the weight of 1,000 decisions pressing on him. He remembered the message he had sent, "We are ready." Now, they were testing if he had meant it. The alien fleet stopped moving. They formed a perfect ring formation beyond the moon. Hale knew it was a blockade. No one in, no one out. He activated the Valor's weapon systems, though he had no orders to do so. His crew hesitated. "Sir, we're not cleared to engage." Hale's voice was low. "We may not get the chance later." Then something strange happened. One of the alien ships broke formation and moved closer to the Valor. It came so close that its shadow covered their hull. The lights on the ship flickered as alien symbols appeared across its surface, glowing lines shifting like living code. A beam of light swept over the Valor, scanning it from top to bottom. The crew covered their eyes. When the light faded, every system on board was disabled. The engines died, the lights dimmed, and silence filled the air. For a full minute, the Valor floated powerless in space. Then the ship powered back up, but not by human hands. Every screen showed a single word in alien symbols, instantly translated by the ship's system. "Observed." Hale's blood ran cold. He understood the message perfectly. They were studying humanity like animals in a cage. Down on Earth, reports flooded in of strange phenomena, compasses spinning, lights flickering, power plants shutting down. The aliens weren't attacking cities. They were testing control. Dr. Evans realized what was happening. "They're mapping our weaknesses," she whispered. "Every signal, every defense, every heartbeat, they're measuring us." Commander Hale made his decision. "If they're watching, let's give them something to see." He ordered a recon drone to approach the alien fleet. As the drone got closer, it sent back blurry images of huge symbols carved into the alien ships, symbols that looked disturbingly similar to ancient markings found on Earth. The connection cut off before they could analyze further. The drone was gone. Hale stared into the darkness where the alien ships floated. He felt something shift deep inside him, not fear, but determination. If this was how the first contact began, then humanity had already lost control. But one thought echoed in his mind, a warning and a promise. If the universe wanted to test humans, it was about to find out what humanity was truly made of. And somewhere beyond the stars, something unseen was watching, waiting for Earth's next move. The silence that followed wasn't peace, it was the calm before the storm. The world had changed overnight. Every screen on Earth showed the same thing, the alien fleet, silent and motionless beyond the moon, forming a dark ring that blocked sunlight in certain regions. Governments tried to calm the public, but fear had already taken root. People demanded protection, while others begged for peace. Riots broke out in several cities. Power grids flickered on and off. Planes were grounded. The internet was fractured. Humanity was divided, and the aliens hadn't even fired a single shot. Inside the underground chamber of the Global Council, the air was thick with panic. Leaders shouted over one another, their faces pale in the dim blue glow of holographic displays. "We must communicate," one cried. "We don't even know what they want," shouted another. A general slammed his hand on the table. "They've already invaded our systems. This is war, whether we admit it or not." The room fell into tense silence. Then, the president of the council spoke softly. "If we strike first, we might start something we cannot finish." Those words echoed through the chamber like a curse. No one wanted to say what everyone feared: the aliens were far beyond human understanding. But Commander Ryan Hale, still aboard the Valor in orbit, had already made up his mind. He was watching Earth's chaos from above, and he knew waiting would only make things worse. Hale was not a politician. He was a soldier. He believed that sometimes hesitation was deadlier than action. His crew gathered around him on the command deck, eyes filled with uncertainty. "Sir," said Lieutenant Arya, "the council ordered all ships to stand down. No one is to fire." Hale nodded slowly. "I know what they said. But look outside, Arya. Do you see them? They're watching us like we're prey. You think they're waiting for peace? No. They're measuring how long it takes before we break." His words sent a chill through the room. The crew knew he was right, but the thought of firing first against something so powerful felt like suicide. Still, Hale's determination burned brighter than fear. Meanwhile, on the lunar base, Dr. Lyra Evans was fighting her own battle. She had finally decrypted fragments of the alien transmission. What she found terrified her. It wasn't just a message, it was a test sequence. Each code block measured human responses, reaction time, data defense, even emotional patterns from global networks. The aliens weren't communicating, they were studying human behavior as if preparing for an experiment. She tried to warn Earth Command, but her messages were delayed, filtered, or ignored. Politicians were too busy arguing over control. No one wanted to admit humanity was being dissected piece by piece. That night, Commander Hale called Dr. Evans through a secure link. Her face appeared on his screen, tired but sharp. "They're not here to talk, Commander," she said. "They're collecting data. Every time we hesitate, they learn more about us." Hale leaned forward. "Then we can't give them what they want." Evans sighed. "You're thinking about firing first, aren't you?" Hale didn't answer. His silence was enough. She looked at him sadly. "If you do that, the whole universe will hear humanity's first shout. There's no turning back after that." Hale stared out the viewport where the alien ships glowed faintly against the stars. "Maybe that's what we need, Doctor. To be heard." On Earth, the Global Council reached a breaking point. The alien message repeated once more, "Submit and live." Some members wanted to send a surrender signal, believing compliance might buy time. Others saw it as the final insult. Heated arguments erupted. A few military leaders walked out, disgusted. One of them, Admiral Voss, secretly contacted Hale. "Commander," Voss said over a private channel, "if the Council won't act, we will. You're authorized to defend this planet by any means necessary." Hale was silent for a long moment. "That's not official authorization," he said quietly. "No," Voss replied, "but it's what Earth needs." The message ended. The decision had been made. Hale gathered his crew. "We're done waiting," he said. "We strike first." The room went still. No one spoke. The weight of his words pressed down on every heart. "Sir," Lieutenant Arya said softly, "what if this starts a war we can't win?" Hale looked at her with steady eyes. "If we don't fight, there won't be anyone left to lose." The crew nodded one by one. They understood. Humanity's fate now rested in the hands of one ship and one man's decision. Hale ordered the launch of a small recon missile, equipped not with explosives but with scanners, to test alien defenses. The missile streaked through space, leaving a faint blue trail. For a moment, it seemed to vanish into nothing. Then, suddenly, the alien ships reacted. A beam of light shot out, destroying the missile instantly. The explosion was small, but the message was clear: they were ready too. Hale exhaled slowly. Now we know. Dr. Evans watched from the lunar base as the data came through. The alien reaction speed was beyond anything she'd seen. They wanted us to fire, she whispered. They wanted to see what we'd do. Hale didn't care. He looked at his crew. Then let's show them what humans do best: we fight back. He ordered all systems armed and prepared for coordinated strike positions. Back on Earth, alarms blared across every base as global defense systems came online. The Council tried to stop him, but their messages were too late. The first human fleet, small and outnumbered, aligned its weapons toward the alien blockade. Hale's voice echoed through every ship: we didn't ask for this war, but we won't die begging for mercy. We are humanity, and we will not kneel. The command was given. Energy built up in the cannons, humming like a heartbeat. Hale took one last look at the stars and whispered to himself, the universe wasn't ready for us. Then he gave the final order. Fire. And in that single moment, humanity made its choice. The first light of war blazed across the void, and the universe would never be the same again. The universe held its breath as the first human missiles tore through the blackness of space. They were small compared to the alien ships, almost insignificant specks of light, but in that moment they carried all of humanity's rage, fear, and defiance. Commander Ryan Hale watched from the bridge of the ISS Valor, his jaw clenched, eyes fixed on the targeting display. Impact in 10 seconds, said Lieutenant Aria, her voice tight with tension. The crew could feel the hum of the engines as the ship shook slightly under the recoil of the launch. Outside, streaks of white fire cut across the void. When the missiles hit, there was no sound, only light. A massive explosion rippled through the alien formation. One of their smallest ships broke apart, its fragments spinning into darkness. The crew gasped. For a second, no one could believe what they were seeing. Humanity had done the impossible. They had destroyed an alien ship. We hit them, Arya whispered. Hale didn't smile. His instincts told him it wasn't victory yet. Brace for retaliation, he ordered. And he was right. A few seconds later, the stars themselves seemed to move. The alien fleet shifted formation with terrifying precision. Every ship turned at once, facing Earth and its defenders. Then came the light. Blinding beams of blue energy lanced out from the alien ships, slicing through the void faster than human sensors could track. One of the defense ships, the Horizon, was struck first. It didn't explode, it simply vanished, vaporized in an instant. The shockwave sent debris scattering into the Valor's shields. They're firing on all frequencies, shouted the weapons officer. Shields down to 60%. The Valor shook violently as another beam grazed its hull, melting armor like wax. Hale gritted his teeth. All ships, return fire. Focus everything on their lead vessel. Across space, human ships unleashed their payloads. Missiles, lasers, railguns, every weapon humanity had built now burned through the darkness. The sky above Earth became a storm of light. Dr. Lyra Evans watched from the lunar base, her heart pounding as she monitored the data feed. Each alien ship that took damage adapted instantly. Their energy shields shifted colors, adjusting frequencies, learning from every hit. They're studying our weapons, she realized aloud. Every shot we fire teaches them how to counter us. But the message couldn't reach Hale fast enough. On the Valor, systems were failing. Sparks flew across the bridge. Engines overheating, shouted an engineer. Reactor core at critical temperature. Hale gripped the console. Keep firing. Don't stop. Another explosion rocked the fleet. A second alien ship went dark, its lights flickered out as if the life within it had been extinguished. The human crews cheered. That's two, someone yelled. For the first time, they felt hope. But then came something new, a soundless pulse that swept across every ship. Lights flickered, communications died, and screens went black. The aliens had released some kind of electromagnetic wave. Hale's systems rebooted, but his stomach dropped as he saw the new readings. "They're charging something big," said Arya, eyes wide. On the alien flagship, a massive sphere of energy was forming, glowing brighter than a star. Hale realized what was coming. "All ships, evasive maneuvers. Scatter now." The energy sphere exploded outward, releasing a blinding wave of destruction. Half the human fleet was wiped out in seconds. Ships disintegrated like dust. Hale's ship spun violently, alarms screaming. The Valor barely survived, shields failing, and hull breached in 3 sections. The crew scrambled to seal the damage. Smoke filled the bridge. "We've lost half our fleet," said Arya, coughing. "The Europa base is gone. Mars stations are offline." Hale slammed his fist on the console. "No. Not like this." He turned to the communication officer. "Give me a line to the council." Static filled the speakers. Then a faint voice came through. "Commander Hale, what have you done?" It was the president of the council, her tone full of disbelief and fear. "You've doomed us all." Hale's voice was cold. "No, ma'am. I've started something they can't ignore." The line went dead. Outside, the alien ships slowed their attack. They had taken losses, but they seemed curious. Their remaining ships surrounded the Valor but didn't destroy it. It was as if they wanted to see what humans would do next. Hale's crew watched as one of the alien ships opened a massive circular port. A beam of light extended from it, connecting to the Valor's hull. The ship's systems flickered again. "They're trying to board us," said Arya. "Then we cut them off," Hale replied. He ordered manual control over the weapons and aimed the remaining railgun directly at the port. "Fire!" The shot hit perfectly, tearing through the alien beam and shattering part of their hull. The alien ship recoiled, its lights flickering. For the first time, Hale thought he heard something, a distant, vibrating sound like a growl echoing through the comms. It wasn't words, but the message was clear: anger. The aliens withdrew slightly, regrouping. They were no longer studying humanity. They were preparing to annihilate it. On the lunar base, Dr. Evans wiped tears from her eyes as she watched the battlefield. "We fired first," she whispered, "and now they'll never stop." But deep down, even she felt a flicker of pride. Humanity, fragile and small, had faced the unknown and struck it first. In the black void, the Valor drifted among the wreckage of both human and alien ships. Fires burned inside the hull. Hale stood silently at the viewport, staring at the stars. He knew this was only the beginning. "They thought we'd run," he murmured. "They thought we'd kneel." He looked at the distant alien fleet reforming for another wave. "Now they know we fight." The crew around him, battered and bleeding, straightened their backs. For the first time, fear turned into resolve. The humans had drawn first blood. The war had truly begun. The silence after the first great battle did not last long. Space around Earth was littered with debris, fragments of ships, human and alien, floating like ghosts of what had been. The Earth itself looked peaceful from orbit, a blue jewel in the dark, but above it hung the shadow of war. Commander Ryan Hale stood on the Valor's cracked bridge, staring at the flickering display. The crew was exhausted, bruised, and half of their systems were offline. Fires burned in the lower decks, and life support was barely holding. Yet the humans had done what no species before them had done: they had hurt the invincible. 2 alien ships destroyed. It was small, but it was something. Hale knew it wouldn't last. "They're coming back," said Lieutenant Arya, pointing at the radar. Dozens of new signatures appeared at the edge of the system. Reinforcements. The alien fleet was growing, regrouping, preparing. The first wave had been a test. The second would be an execution. Hale turned to his crew. "We can't defend from here. Give me a line to all remaining ships." Static filled the comms before the signal cleared. The faces of battered captains appeared one by one on the main screen. They looked tired but alive. "We've lost half our fleet," said Captain Idris from the ship Horizon 2. "Mars bases are gone. The moon outposts are dark." Hale nodded grimly. "We don't retreat. We regroup. We use what's left and make them bleed again." Nobody argued. They all knew there was no surrender left in them. Far below, on the surface of Mars, the last human outpost sent a final transmission before being erased by alien fire. The video feed showed the red sky turning white as plasma beams struck. Billions watched it live on their screens back on Earth. There was no sound, only the flash, and then static. Panic spread through every continent. Some demanded peace. Others called for revenge. Governments struggled to keep control as fear turned into chaos. Yet amid that fear, something strange happened. Humanity began to unite. People from every nation volunteered to join the planetary defense. Factories that once built cars and ships now forged weapons and armor. The world had finally stopped fighting itself. Now it was fighting to survive. On the lunar base, Dr. Lyra Evans worked without rest. Her lab was dark, lit only by the blue glow of alien tech fragments recovered from the battlefield. The materials were unlike anything she had ever seen: self-repairing metal, energy cores that pulsed like hearts, circuits that seemed to think. She believed if humans could understand it, they might stand a chance. "They adapt," she whispered to herself. "But so do we." She opened a communication link to Hale. His tired face appeared on the screen. "Doctor," he said, "tell me you have something good." Evans gave a weak smile. "We've learned how their shields absorb energy. If we overload them with mixed frequencies, it confuses the system." Hale's eyes lit with hope. "Can you weaponize it?" "Not yet," she said. "But I'm close." Hale nodded. "You have 24 hours. After that, there might not be anything left to save." He ended the call and turned to his crew. "Prepare the fleet for full deployment. We hold them at Mars orbit. If they break through, Earth is finished." The crew obeyed without hesitation. The surviving ships took formation, forming a thin line of defense between Mars and Earth. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. The alien armada arrived in silence, their ships gliding forward like shadows. The humans fired first this time too, not out of aggression but out of survival. Missiles and plasma cannons filled the void with light. The aliens responded instantly, their return fire far deadlier. Entire human ships vanished, consumed by white-blue flames. Hale's voice rang across the comms. "Keep firing. Don't stop. Every second we hold is another second for Earth." Explosions lit the blackness. Ship after ship fell, but the line held longer than anyone expected. For the first time, the aliens hesitated. The humans were fighting like no species ever had. They fought not for conquest, not for power, but because there was no other choice. Hale's ship took another direct hit. Consoles sparked, alarms screamed, and smoke filled the bridge. Arya struggled to keep control. "We've lost the left thruster. Shields down to 20%. Hale coughed through the smoke. "Reroute all power to weapons. If we're going down, we're taking them with us." The Valor spun through the chaos, firing everything it had. One of the alien ships broke apart under the assault, pieces tumbling into space. The crew cheered even as another blast rocked them. Dr. Evans watched the battle from her screen. Her heart pounded as she finally cracked the alien energy pattern. "I've got it," she whispered. "I can overload them." She transmitted the formula to the fleet. Within minutes, human ships began adjusting their weapons. When they fired again, the results were immediate. The alien shields shimmered violently, then collapsed. One by one, alien vessels began to fall. The tide of the battle shifted. For the first time, the enemy retreated. Cheers erupted across every surviving human ship. Hale leaned back in his chair, exhausted but alive. You did it, Doctor, he said softly. Evans smiled faintly, tears in her eyes. We did it, Commander. Humanity did it. But the celebration was short-lived. Hale's sensors detected something massive approaching from beyond the battle zone. It was larger than any ship they had seen, dwarfing the others like a planet-sized fortress. They're sending their command ship, Hale muttered. The crew went silent. The first retaliation had ended, but the true war was just beginning. The aliens had tested humanity's strength, and now they would respond with everything they had. Hale stood, looking out at the distant shape growing larger with every second. Let them come, he said quietly. They'll learn that humans don't break. We adapt. The fires of battle reflected in his eyes. The war had only just begun, but for the first time, humanity had hope. They had fought back. They had survived the retaliation. And somewhere deep in the stars, the universe itself was beginning to realize a terrifying truth: humans were not prey. They were predators who had just awakened. The alien command ship emerged from the shadows like a moving planet, a monstrous construct of dark metal and glowing veins of blue energy. It dwarfed every human vessel, casting a long shadow across the wreckage of the battlefield. Commander Ryan Hale stood at the Valor's bridge, his eyes locked on the colossal form before him. That's it, he said quietly. The heart of their fleet. The crew stared in silence, all mixing with dread. The ship was beautiful and terrifying, a work of art built for war. Its surface shifted and pulsed like it was alive. They're charging something, said Lieutenant Arya, scanning the readings. Energy levels rising fast. Hale gripped the console. All ships, scatter formation. Move now. The human fleet broke apart just as the alien flagship fired. A beam of pure energy cut across space, slicing through 3 ships in a single instant. The explosion blinded sensors and shook the Valor violently. Report! Hale shouted. The Achilles and Titan are gone, Arya replied. We can't take another hit like that. Hale's mind raced. They needed a plan. Then his communicator buzzed, Dr. Lyra Evans from the lunar base. Her voice was urgent. Commander, I've finished analyzing the alien cores. They're using a living power source, something biological mixed with technology. But we found a weakness. If we disrupt their power flow, even for a second, their shields collapse completely. Hale's heart quickened. How do we do that? You'll need to overload their core, she said. But it has to be from inside the energy field. No missile can reach it. Hale understood instantly. You're saying someone has to fly in. Evans hesitated. Yes. It's a suicide mission. Hale turned to his crew. Prepare the interceptor. I'll take it. Arya's eyes widened. Sir, you can't be serious. You'll never make it back. Hale looked at her with calm resolve. If that thing reaches Earth, no one will make it back. I'll buy you time. The crew protested, but Hale's decision was final. He walked to the hangar, the ship trembling under distant fire. As he entered the interceptor, a small, agile craft built for close combat, he looked one last time at the crew who had become his family. Keep fighting, he said. No matter what happens. The hatch closed, and the ship launched into the darkness. The Valor watched as the tiny vessel raced toward the alien fortress like a spark flying toward a storm. The alien flagship noticed immediately. Its defenses lit up, firing streams of energy to intercept. Hale weaved between them, his reflexes pushed to the limit. Come on, he muttered. You'll have to do better than that. The interceptor's hull shook as debris passed dangerously close. Dr. Evans guided him from the lunar base, her voice steady in his earpiece. Stay close to their energy field. You'll need to find an access point, something that looks like a vent. Hale's eyes scanned the surface. Then he saw it, a glowing pattern spiraling like a breathing lung. Found it, he said. He dove toward it, the ship skimming the alien surface. The energy field flashed violently as he crossed the threshold. I'm inside. Evan's voice came through, trembling slightly. Good. Now, you'll need to plant the overload core manually. Set it to release the full energy pulse once you're clear. Hale smirked. Clear isn't really part of this plan, is it? Just, be fast, she said softly. Inside the alien ship, everything pulsed with life. The walls seemed to move, veins of light beating like hearts. Hale's sensors picked up readings that made no sense, organic and synthetic matter fused into one. They built their ships from something alive, he whispered. He reached the core chamber, a vast space filled with blinding blue light. At the center floated a massive sphere, shifting between solid and liquid, humming like a heartbeat. Hale armed the overload device and placed it against the core. Package set, he said. Starting countdown. But before he could leave, the alien ship reacted. The walls rippled, and a voice filled his mind, not through speakers, but directly in his thoughts. It was deep, echoing, neither male nor female. Why do you fight? It asked. Hale froze. Because you gave us no choice. You are fragile, the voice said. You cannot win. Hale smiled grimly. We already did. You just don't know it yet. He hit the thrusters, pulling the interceptor out of the chamber at full speed. The alien ship convulsed behind him, its lights flickering. The overload timer ticked down, 10 seconds, then 5. Come on, Hale whispered. He broke through the energy field just as the core detonated. A blinding flash filled the void. The explosion rippled outward like a supernova, tearing through the alien flagship. Fragments scattered across space, and smaller ships exploded in its wake. On the Valor, the crew watched in stunned silence. The largest ship in the enemy fleet was gone. Aria's voice broke through the quiet. He did it. Cheers erupted, mixed with tears. Dr. Evans covered her mouth as she saw the readings. It's over, he actually did it. But her joy turned to sorrow as she realized Hale's ship had vanished in the blast. No signal, no trace. Commander Hale, she whispered, come in. Only static answered. The battlefield fell silent. The remaining alien ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart. Humanity had done the impossible, they had turned the tide. Across Earth, people cheered as the news spread. For the first time, there was hope. But even as the celebrations began, Dr. Evans couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The alien energy readings didn't vanish completely. Somewhere in the depths of space, faint signals still pulsed, a heartbeat that refused to die. And as she stared at the data, she saw something impossible. The pattern of the signal had changed. It was human. Far away, in the darkness where the alien ship had exploded, a faint light flickered, small, steady, and alive. Commander Hale's last words echoed across the stars, we adapt. The universe had underestimated humanity, and now, it was about to learn what that truly meant. The turning point had come, and the war for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. The war's silence was haunting. Space that had once been filled with fire and destruction now drifted in an eerie calm. Wreckage floated aimlessly, broken ships, twisted metal, and the remains of those who had fought for Earth's survival. The alien fleet had retreated into the void, their massive flagship destroyed, leaving humanity battered but victorious. Yet beneath the surface of celebration, there was grief. Commander Ryan Hale was gone, his sacrifice etched into history. Across the world, people spoke his name with reverence, the man who gave everything to save his species. On the Valor, now under Lieutenant Aria's command, the crew worked in silence. Every console, every scorch mark, every flickering light carried Hale's memory. He wouldn't want us to stop, Aria said to the weary faces around her. So we don't. We rebuild. We prepare. Her words were strong, but her heart ached. The loss was personal. Hale had been more than a commander, he had been the reason they believed they could win. Meanwhile, Dr. Lyra Evans had barely slept since the battle. In her lab on the lunar base, she replayed the final transmission from Hale's interceptor again and again. The explosion should have vaporized everything, yet the faint energy pattern she detected afterward refused to fade. It pulsed irregularly, weak but alive. She isolated the frequency and enhanced the signal. Her eyes widened. It was human. The rhythm matched neural activity. Someone was trying to reach out. It can't be, she whispered. It's him. She ran more scans, tracing the signal's origin. It came from deep space, near the wreckage of the alien flagship. Against all logic, she sent a transmission. This is Dr. Evans. If you can hear me, please respond. Static filled the room for a long moment. Then, faintly, a voice broke through. Lyra. She froze. Ryan? Is that really you? The voice was weak but unmistakable. I don't know where I am, everything's dark. Evan's heart pounded. Stay calm. I'm locking onto your coordinates. She sent the data to Arya aboard the Valor. Within minutes, the crew was in motion. The ship turned toward the debris field, engines glowing softly. If he's alive, Arya said, we're bringing him home. The Valor reached the coordinates after hours of silent travel. The area was filled with drifting metal and fragments of alien technology. Sensors struggled to separate signals from noise. There, said Arya, pointing at a faint energy reading. It's coming from inside that wreck. The ship maneuvered closer. A small recovery team suited up and launched toward the remains of the alien core. Inside, surrounded by half-melted walls and flickering energy veins, they found a pod, black, organic-looking, with faint blue light pulsing from within. That's not human tech, one of the crew whispered. No, Arya replied, but open it anyway. They pried the pod open carefully. Inside lay Ryan Hale, unconscious but alive, his body covered in strange markings that glowed faintly. He was breathing, though barely. They rushed him back to the Valor's mid-bay. Evans appeared on the main screen, tears in her eyes. You found him, she said, her voice trembling. He's alive. But something about Hale was different. His body temperature was unstable, and his vital signs fluctuated between normal and something unknown. The alien markings on his skin moved like living lines, fading and reappearing. Hours later, Hale awoke. The room was quiet, the hum of the ship a distant sound. Arya stood beside him, relief washing over her face. You're back, she said softly. Hale looked around, confusion in his eyes. Where am I? On the Valor, she said. We thought we lost you. He tried to speak but stopped as a flash of memory hit him, light, pain, the explosion, and then, darkness filled with whispers. I saw them, he said slowly. I wasn't dead. They tried to talk to me. Who? Arya asked. The aliens? He shook his head weakly. Not just them. Something deeper. Something that controls them. Evans entered the room through a hololink. Ryan, we found traces of alien DNA merged with your cells. You were exposed to their core. It's changing you. Hale stared at his hands. The faint blue lines pulsed again, syncing with his heartbeat. Changing me how? We don't know, Evans admitted. But you might be the key to understanding their technology. Outside the ship, the debris field began to shift. Sensors blared warnings. Arya rushed to the bridge. Report. Something's moving out there, a technician shouted. It's not the wreckage, it's rebuilding itself. The crew watched in disbelief as fragments of alien metal began to draw together, forming new shapes. The destroyed ships were regenerating. Evans' voice came through the comms, panicked. Their technology is self-replicating. Destroying the core didn't stop it, it only delayed it. Hale stumbled onto the bridge, still weak but determined. They're not gone, he said. They're adapting, just like we did. Then what do we do? Arya asked. Hale looked out at the forming shapes in the distance. We finish what we started. But this time, we use their power against them. Evans nodded. Your connection to their energy might be the only way to stop them permanently. If you can interface with their network, maybe we can shut it all down. Hale took a deep breath. Then let's do it. I didn't come back just to watch them rebuild. Outside, the stars dimmed as the alien remnants began to glow with life once more. The galaxy's deadliest army was regenerating, evolving faster than ever before. But this time, humanity had something new. One of their own had seen the enemy from within and returned with their power. As the Valor turned to face the rising threat, Hale clenched his fists. The alien energy inside him pulsed brighter, resonating with the enemy ships. The war wasn't over. It was only evolving. And now, so was he. The stars shimmered dimly against the black ocean of space as the Valor floated silently between drifting debris. Commander Ryan Hale stood at the viewport, his reflection faintly illuminated by the pulsing blue lines on his skin. It had been days since his recovery, and every hour brought new changes. His strength had returned, but it was no longer just human strength. He could sense things beyond sight, currents of energy, whispers in the void, faint signals pulsing through space like heartbeats. The alien presence within him was growing louder, not hostile, but aware. Dr. Lyra Evans watched him closely through the observation window, her mind torn between fear and fascination. He's stabilizing, she told Arya over comms, but the alien energy is fully integrated now. It's not infecting him, it's merging. Arya's voice crackled through. Is he dangerous? Evans hesitated. I don't think so. But he's not just human anymore. Inside his mind, Hale could hear fragments of alien thought, broken voices speaking in an ancient rhythm. At first, it was chaos, but slowly the words began to make sense. Why do you resist? One voice asked. Hale closed his eyes. Because we have to survive. Survival, the voice echoed. The same reason we came. Hale felt a chill. You came to destroy us. No, the voice whispered. We came to cleanse. Images flooded his mind, worlds consumed by their technology, species absorbed into a collective intelligence that sought perfection. The aliens believed they were saving the galaxy from chaos, one civilization at a time. But to humans, it was conquest. Hale gritted his teeth. You call it cleansing. We call it extinction. The voice fell silent. When Hale opened his eyes, the blue glow on his arms dimmed. He realized something. The alien consciousness wasn't a single mind but millions linked together, all driven by a purpose they no longer questioned. He turned toward Evans, who had entered the room. They think they're saving us, he said quietly. She frowned. Saving us? From what? From ourselves, he replied. They see us as unstable, violent, too unpredictable to exist freely. Evans crossed her arms. They're not entirely wrong. But that doesn't give them the right to erase us. Hale nodded. I know. And that's why we have to fight smarter this time. Before Evans could respond, alarms blared across the Valor. Arya's voice came through urgently. Ryan, we've got movement. The alien remnants, they're not just rebuilding anymore. They're forming something huge. Hale and Evans rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, hundreds of alien fragments had fused together into a massive, living construct, a new ship, larger than the first flagship, its structure constantly shifting like liquid metal. It's evolving, Evans said, horror in her voice. It's learning from the last battle. The ship emitted a deep hum that reverberated through every sensor. Then, the strange part, it didn't attack. Instead, it projected a beam of light toward the Valor. They're sending a signal, said the comms officer. Hale stepped forward. Open a channel. Are you sure? Arya asked. We don't know what it'll do. I can handle it, he said. The connection opened, and the voice that spoke was calm, almost human. Ryan Hale. You survived the cleansing. Hale recognized it, the same consciousness he had felt inside the alien core. You talk like you know me. We do, the voice said. You carry our essence now. You are part of us, and yet you resist. We wish to understand. Hale clenched his jaw. You destroyed our worlds. You killed billions. There's nothing to understand. We removed imperfection, the voice said simply. You were chosen to bridge the divide. Evans whispered, they're trying to use you. The voice continued. Join us. Together, we can bring order to all life. Hale took a deep breath. He could feel their pull inside his mind, a cold, logical presence offering peace in exchange for control. If order means slavery, he said, then I'll choose chaos. The connection cut abruptly. The alien ship began to move, its energy building rapidly. They're powering weapons. Arya shouted. Shields up. The Valor shuddered as beams of light tore through space, narrowly missing the hull. Hale gripped the console, his blue lines glowing brighter. I can sense their fire pattern, he said. They're syncing with my energy. Can you disrupt it? Evans asked. Maybe, Hale said. If I can project the same frequency back, I might confuse their systems. That's insane, Arya said. It could kill you. Hale smiled faintly. It wouldn't be the first time. He closed his eyes and reached out with his mind. The alien energy within him surged, connecting with the enemy's rhythm. For a moment, he felt everything, the ship's thoughts, its calculations, the vast network stretching across light years. He sent a pulse back through the link, a distortion wave that rippled through the alien systems. The massive ship trembled, its lights flickering. Evans gasped. It's working. But the strain was immense. Hale fell to his knees, blood trickling from his nose. Ryan, stop! Arya shouted. He gritted his teeth. Not yet, he pushed harder, forcing his mind deeper into the alien network. And then, suddenly, the enemy ship stopped firing. The entire battlefield went still. What happened? Evans asked. Hale looked up, his eyes glowing entirely blue now. I connected with them, he said slowly. I can see their home. I know where they're coming from. Arya stared at him. Their home world? He nodded. If we want to end this war, that's where we have to go. Evans looked uneasy. You're not thinking of leading an attack there, are you? Hale's voice was calm but cold. Not an attack. A reckoning. The crew fell silent. Outside, the alien ship drifted lifelessly, its systems overloaded from Hale's interference. But deep within him, the alien voices stirred again. Some sounded angry, others curious. For the first time, their collective mind was uncertain. Humanity had done the impossible once more, they had turned their own weapon against them. Hale looked out into the dark horizon of stars. The next battle would not be fought in human space. It would be fought in the heart of the alien empire itself. And this time, humanity would not be the hunted, they would be the storm. The Valor drifted at the edge of known space, its hull scarred from countless battles, its crew running on sheer determination. The stars beyond the viewport looked different now, darker, colder, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Commander Ryan Hale stood on the bridge, silent and focused. The alien energy within him pulsed in rhythm with the ship's systems, linking him to everything around him. Since his connection with the alien network, he could feel their presence in the distance like faint echoes of thought. We're approaching the coordinates, Arya reported. Sensors are barely holding up. Whatever's out there, it's bending space itself. Dr. Lyra Evans studied the readings. The data made no sense. Spacetime was twisted ahead of them, forming a massive energy field unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. That's not a planet, she said. It's a living system. Hale's eyes narrowed. Their homeworld. As the Valor crossed the threshold, the stars vanished, replaced by a swirling ocean of light and shadow. The alien world wasn't made of rock or metal, it was a colossal biomechanical construct, alive and breathing. Towers of liquid energy rose and fell like lungs, and rivers of glowing matter flowed across its surface. The crew watched in stunned silence. This is it, Arya whispered. The center of their empire. Hale felt a surge of alien whispers flood his mind, voices calling, beckoning him home. They know we're here, he said quietly. They've been waiting. Before the Valor could move closer, the space around them erupted. Dozens of alien ships materialized, forming an impenetrable wall. Incoming fleet, shouted the comms officer. We're surrounded. Arya's fingers flew across the console. All power to shields. Ready weapons. The ship shook violently as enemy fire rained down. Plasma beams lit the darkness, colliding with human defenses in a storm of light. Hale gripped the console, feeling the energy build within him. He could sense their movements before they attacked, their thoughts before they acted. Fire at bearing 210, he commanded. The Valor's cannons turned and unleashed a volley exactly where he had directed. 3 alien ships exploded instantly. The crew stared at him in disbelief. How did you? Arya began, but Hale didn't answer. He was beyond explanation now. Every attack, every motion, he could anticipate. It was as if he was fighting himself, his alien half guiding his human instinct. Dr. Evans watched in awe and fear. He's sinking with them completely, she whispered. If this continues, we might lose him. But there was no time to worry. The battle raged on, and the Valor fought like never before. Missiles streaked through the void, cutting through the alien ranks. Still, more ships appeared, endless and relentless. We can't hold much longer. Arya shouted. Hale's voice remained steady. Then we break through. He activated the ship's final weapon, a prototype pulse bomb created from the alien core fragments they'd salvaged. The Valor charged forward, engines roaring. All ships, fall back. Hale ordered. The crew braced as the pulse bomb detonated, sending out a blinding wave of energy. The shockwave tore through the enemy lines, shattering ships and distorting space itself. For a brief moment, silence returned. The alien blockade was broken. We're through, Arya said, her voice trembling. Ahead lay the planet-sized alien structure, glowing brighter now as if aware of their intrusion. Take us in, Hale said. The Valor descended into the atmosphere, passing through clouds of energy that shimmered like living light. The surface below was a labyrinth of towers, circuits, and pulsating veins of power. Massive structures moved slowly, reshaping themselves as if the entire world was alive. I'm detecting energy readings off the scale, Evans said. The entire planet is a neural network, a single consciousness. Hale nodded. That's what I saw when I connected with them. It's not just a planet, it's their mind. As the Valor hovered over a vast glowing plain, the alien voice returned inside Hale's head, deeper and more powerful than ever before. You should not have come, it said. Hale gritted his teeth. You've brought your war to every world we know. Now we're bringing it to you. You misunderstand, the voice said, calm and ancient. We do not destroy. We transform. You resist your evolution. Hale's body tensed as pain surged through him. The alien energy within him reacted violently. Evans rushed to his side. Ryan. What's happening? They're trying to control me, he said through clenched teeth. They want me to join them completely. His veins glowed bright blue, his eyes flickering between human and alien light. Fight it! Arya shouted. Don't let them in. Hale slammed his hand onto the console, forcing his focus outward. Evans, can we overload their network from here? Maybe, she said quickly. If I can tap into their energy lines through you. Do it, he said. Evans connected her tablet to the ship's main power grid, syncing Hale's neural energy with the alien planet. The moment she did, the ship began to shake violently. Energy surged through the systems, lights flickering, alarms blaring. Hale felt himself torn between two worlds, his human mind and the vast alien consciousness trying to consume him. You can't win, the voice said in his mind. You are one. We are infinite. Maybe, Hale said, sweat dripping down his face. But even infinity has a weakness. He forced all his strength into one thought, a single pulse of defiance that rippled through the connection. The alien planet screamed. Towers collapsed, and energy rivers exploded into the air. It's working. Evans shouted. Their network is destabilizing. Hale pushed harder, pain tearing through his body. If this is evolution, he growled, then humanity chooses its own path. With one final surge, he unleashed everything, the combined power of man and alien, mind and machine. The planet's core erupted in light so bright it swallowed everything. On the Valor's bridge, systems went dark. For several long seconds, there was nothing, no sound, no sight, only silence. Then, slowly, the light faded. The planet below was gone, replaced by fragments drifting into space. The alien fleet had vanished. Evans stared at the readings in disbelief. He did it, she whispered. He destroyed their world. Arya turned to where Hale had stood. The command chair was empty. Only faint blue energy shimmered in the air, fading slowly like a heartbeat. Ryan, she said softly. Outside the viewport, the last remnants of the alien world dissolved into the stars. The war was over, or so they thought. Because in that fading light, far beyond human reach, something new was awakening. Silence hung over the remains of the alien world. The Valor floated in the debris field, its hull battered and dark. The crew moved slowly, exhausted but alive. Dr. Lyra Evans sat at her console, staring at the monitors. The readings made no sense. The alien core was gone, completely erased, but there, hidden deep within the wreckage, something still pulsed. A signal. A heartbeat. Commander Hale, she whispered. Arya turned sharply. What did you say? Evans zoomed in on the data. It's faint, but it's definitely human. Same biosignature. It's him. Arya's eyes widened. That's impossible. He was at the center of the explosion. No one could survive that. Evans didn't answer. She rerouted all sensors to focus on the signal. He's out there, she said quietly. Somehow, he's still alive. The Valor's engines rumbled to life. Arya gripped the controls. Then we're going to find him. The ship moved through the field of glowing fragments, each piece of alien metal drifting like shards of broken glass. Energy crackled between them, faint and unstable, remnants of the alien network that had once ruled this region of space. Evans watched the readings nervously. Be careful. That energy is unpredictable. One wrong move and we could be vaporized. Arya nodded but didn't slow down. After everything he did for us, I'm not leaving him behind. The debris thickened, and strange flashes appeared in the dark, echoes of light that seemed to flicker in rhythm with the human signal. It's coming from inside that structure, Evans said, pointing toward a massive fragment that still glowed faintly blue. The Valor approached carefully. The fragment was the size of a city, its surface twisted and torn apart. As they got closer, the crew saw movement, tiny arcs of lightning crawling across the metal. There's something inside, Arya said. Preparing a drone. A small probe launched from the ship, gliding through the glowing mist. Its camera transmitted live footage back to the bridge. What they saw made everyone fall silent. At the center of the wreck, surrounded by floating energy crystals, was a figure. A man, suspended in light. Ryan Hale. His body floated motionless, but energy pulsed from him in waves, rippling through the debris like a heartbeat. Evans leaned forward. He's alive, but he's not human anymore. Arya frowned. What do you mean? Look at the readings, Evans said. His DNA, it's merged with the alien code. He's part of the network now. Before they could react, the comm system crackled. A voice came through, distorted, echoing, but unmistakably human. Valor, this is Hale. The crew froze. Ryan. Arya shouted. We're here. We're bringing you home. His voice was calm, distant. No. I can't come back. Evan's eyes filled with tears. You're alive. We can bring you aboard. We can help you. It's too late, Hale interrupted. The connection didn't just end with the explosion. When I destroyed their world, the core energy fused with me. I can feel them, all of them. The ones that died, the fragments that remain. They're still out there, scattered across the stars. Arya clenched her fists. Then we'll destroy the rest. Together. Hale's voice softened. You don't understand. I can stop them, but not as a man. Evans shook her head. No. You're still human. We'll find a way. You already have, Hale said quietly. Humanity survived. You stood against the impossible. You changed everything. The energy around him brightened, swirling like a storm. The network isn't gone, it's rebuilding. But this time, I can guide it. I can make it something better. Arya's voice cracked. You're saying you're going to control it? Ryan, that's suicide. No, he said gently. It's evolution. The lights on the Valor flickered as the energy field grew stronger. The debris began to shift, drawn toward Hale's body. Evans realized what was happening. He's merging with the fragments, creating something new. Arya, Hale said softly, tell Earth the war is over. But tell them to be ready. The universe isn't done with us yet. Ryan, she started, but the transmission broke apart in a burst of static. Outside, the debris began to glow brighter and brighter until it formed a massive sphere of light. The Valor's shield strained against the shockwaves. Evans shouted, we have to move, now. Arya pulled the ship away, engine screaming as the sphere pulsed one final time and collapsed inward, vanishing completely. The space where it had been was now silent, empty. Only the stars remained. The crew sat in stunned silence. He's gone, Arya said quietly. Evans stared at the empty void. No, not gone. Changed. Weeks passed. The Valor returned to Earth, greeted as heroes. The alien threat had vanished. Cities rebuilt, colonies reconnected, and humanity began to breathe again. But Evans couldn't rest. She spent every night studying the last transmission, the faint traces of energy left behind. Then, one night, it happened. A soft tone echoed through the lab. The same signal. The same pulse. She froze. The pattern was unmistakable, 3 short bursts, 2 long, 1 short. Morse code. It spelled one word, hello. Evans smiled through her tears. Welcome back, Ryan. Far beyond Earth, in the depths of uncharted space, something stirred. A new network was forming, not of machines, but of light. It stretched across the stars, gentle and alive, linking worlds instead of conquering them. And at its heart was a single consciousness, watching, learning, guiding. Commander Ryan Hale, the man who had become the bridge between species, now watched over the universe. His voice echoed faintly across the stars. Humanity was never ready, he said. But they made the first move. And now, the universe will follow.